My name's Riley Newsom. I'm here with Reeb Gear and I'm showing off my 2019 Mercedes Sprinter van. Favorite feature on this definitely has to be the bed. We got like a Murphy style bed, folds down. You can see when it's up there right now, we have tons of room. You can hang out in the back. It just opens up the living space. And then the bathroom as well. So that's sort of controversial in vans. Some people love having a bathroom, some people don't. We're in the camp of bathroom's awesome. So we got that. We have a little cubby, our toilet tucks away in. It gives you a little bit more standing room, a little bit more elbow room in there. So yeah, I'd have to say those two are definitely the favorite features. On either side here, in terms of the capacity of the van, we have a 20-gallon water tank on either side, and they're connected through the subfloor, so not underneath the van, but actually within the insulated floor. We can isolate one or the other. They can be filled independently, but it gives us 40 gallons of fresh water, which is more than we've ever needed and probably do need, but it's good peace of mind right there. So we have a Rixson hydronic heating system. The diesel heater's under the driver's seat underneath the van, and then we have the glycol loop that runs back into this cabinet, where we have a heat exchanger for on-demand hot water, and then we have a radiator for hot air that blows out the back, sort of heats up the sleeping area, and then we got a vent that's blowing forward as well. So up front, we're pretty stock. We do have some Baja Designs ditch lights, our Midland GMRS radio antenna right here. The big thing you'll notice up front is our Rome-built roof rack with some lights on the front, which are complete overkill, but they look sweet, and that's what really matters in a rig. As far as like tires, wheels, suspension, the suspension's all stock. Do have some black Rhino wheels, and then our tires here are BF Goodrich KO2s, 275/70 R17s. So really happy with the KO2s. They've been great. Had them on the previous rig as well, and I have no complaints there. So started off doing scouts. I was always camping and out in the woods, and then that continued on. Right when I was about to graduate college, one of my buddies reached out to me and he's like, yeah, hey, you want to go hike the Appalachian Trail? And I was like, that sounds pretty cool, but I'd just seen this sweet YouTube video about these people doing this thing called the Mongol Rally, where you drive from England to Mongolia in a tiny little car, has to be less than a liter engine. I'd never even heard of overlanding, had no idea what it was. We flew to England, I'd bought a car sight unseen, picked it up. The guy thought I was trying to scam him, I thought he was trying to scam me. We broke everything on that car, but we finally made it to Mongolia. It was like 19 countries later, and I came back home and I was like, how do I sort of continue that adventure at home? You know, it's obviously not feasible for most people to be doing that sort of international travel all the time. I still wanted to have that fun of living out of my vehicle and traveling around on the weekends. Down the side of the van, we have an Outvans ladder here that attaches, gives you clearance around the wheel well there. Fits over top of our flares, but it keeps the ladder nice and tight to the body, which is really nice. It goes up to our roof rack where we have 280 watts of solar built in. Right now we have what's typically on the ground, but an extra solar panel popped up there just to be out of the way since we're all sort of packed in here at Expo. But that gives us an additional 200 watts of solar, and there's still quite a bit of walking area up there. So we're able to put a cargo box up top if we need to, or in this case, toss our solar up there. So on the passenger door, we have the Outvans Sherpa panel, and then we've mounted a Pelican cargo box to that. So the cargo box is just held on using these Reeb Gear cargo brackets, which are pinned on using quick release pins. Makes it easy to pop this off and then put on a ski rack or a bike rack if we need to. We got a nifty little adjustable step here on the side. This thing can pop up or down, so that when you gotta lock down the front tire of your bike on your bike rack, you can just step up here and reach it without any problems. So then mounted up on this side of the rig, we got our Girard awning. So it's a full electric, doesn't have any legs. It's got a nice little LED strip on the outside, and that's been great. Yesterday it was raining for a bit and we just popped that out, you know, just a push of a button. They stayed nice and dry over here. Went over our canopies. So that's a great addition we've really loved on the van. So when you hop up in the front of the van here, we have our little bench seat on the side, and it's running front to back, which really opens up the center aisle for us. Our whole power system's underneath here, and then part of what's under this bench is occupied by the toilet and the shower, which I'll show you here in just a second. So we do a little bit of bouldering, and instead of having that crash pad take up a lot of space in the back of the van, we just sort of built it in and made it part of the build, and so that's our seat right there. We have an S-Pod running all the interior lights, water pump, the drain pump, tank heaters, everything's just run off of that. That's the control for our Rixson heating system. And then we have a full Victron electric system. So that's just the Servo Touch GX up there that's showing how much power we have coming in or going out or left in the batteries. We love going to New England. We go up there all the time. I'm from there originally, but left when I was very young. But we go back up, like to go to Acadia, like Bar Harbor, anywhere on the coast up there. We go to New Hampshire as well pretty frequently. So on the kitchen side, over here on the passenger side, in the doorway we have a fridge. So we have your standard front-loading fridge here that can swing all the way open. So when you go buy groceries and come back, it makes it really easy to load everything from outside, but you can still access it from inside as well. And then at the bottom, the most important fridge we have is the drink fridge down here. And again, you can get to it from inside or outside, load that thing up with all the drinks for the weekend and you're good to go. But it gives us plenty of cold storage here. We don't have to put an extra cooler or anything, taking up space in the back. But we like to ski quite a bit, so we do a lot of winter camping. We're camping out in like the parking lot of the ski resort, and that's where a van like this is really nice. So you're saving a lot of money while you do that as well. And you're pretty comfortable and like warm and cozy in here. So moving back in the kitchen, we have our sink, nothing special about that. A little filtered water faucet here. And then we have some more hard storage from Reeb Gear, so the Molly panel with their pin system. And then we can put any sort of coasters or coffee beans, anything like that on here as well. And above the kitchen, we got an overhead cabinet where we can tuck our plates and bowls, any sort of dishes we need. And then underneath the sink, there's some additional storage with some drawers. And then down at the bottom, we have a little cubby we can tuck our shoes into as well. We found a couple places where it's actually like an uninhabited island and we can drive the vehicle out there and there's basically nobody in sight. So you just park up on the beach, camp out for however long, up to 14 days, just hanging out. So we've sort of gone from, the beach to the mountains, snow, mostly East Coast. We haven't had a chance to go out west yet in any of our rigs. And then stepping on back, we have the shower. This is kind of the controversial topic in a van. Some people love having it, some people don't. We love it. So we have a elevated grate on the floor here. So when you're showering, the water's all falling beneath that grate. And then when you have to step in here later in the day, your socks and everything aren't getting soaking wet. So that just keeps you up off the ground. The van's never perfectly level, so it never drains like it should, but at least you're not standing in your shower water later in the day. But it's all fully sealed. We just have a little hand sprayer with a click button on it to turn it on and off. And then the sort of unique thing about our shower is we tuck our toilet forward, and that goes partially under the bench. And that just frees up a lot of standing space in there. And we put some hooks in here so we can hang our wet stuff in here. When we come back from skiing, you can hang your jackets up. It was sprinkling a little yesterday. We can toss our rain jackets in here, keep our towels hung up. And then for the shower door, it's just a little Nautilus sliding door. It's self-cleaning when you close it, or open it rather. And since the door is always open when you're not using the bathroom, it makes the space feel a little more open. You get some more elbow room, makes it easier to step out of the way if somebody needs to get by you. So even though there's a bathroom in here and that does take up a lot of space, it feels like usable space to us. So there's a small cubby you can access things through the front. Right now we have like a spare battery, the Goal Zero, tucked in there that's powering Starlink for us, but we actually do have a dedicated power system. So that power system is actually charging our Goal Zero right now. And then it also can be accessed through a top opening lid. On the back doors, like storage is key in a small vehicle, and ours is bigger than most, but it's still relatively small. So we got Molly panels in the back, a lot of Blue Ridge Overlanding gear bags that we strap onto it, and then some hard bins from Reeb Gear here that allows you to just tuck things away, keep it nice and organized. Just gives a lot of options, and we have some up at the top of the door as well, just so when you're laying in bed you can tuck your phone or whatever else you need to in there at night. And on the other side, this full height wall we have here, it helps divide sort of the bedroom from the front. It allows us to put up a curtain here, so we have a 12-volt AC unit in the ceiling. So then the AC unit's just having to cool off this small area in the evening, or the heater's only having to warm up this area. But it also gives us a pantry here, so it's full depth. It goes all the way to the outside wall. We have a variety of shelves in here. They're all adjustable in height and position. We're always talking about going to Overland Expo West or Mountain West, or any excuse to get out there. And so we started Reeb Gear to sort of make accessories for vans, and we've been expanding that into other vehicles as well. But that's sort of our excuse to travel a bit more and hopefully get us out west on some trips, and we can tack on a little personal time to the work trip as well. So in the front, we got the 2 factory seats, and they're on the factory swivels, but the factory able to turn those around gives us a lot of space. We're able to have a lagoon table sort of mounted near the front of the bench here, and that's able to pivot and swing around so that all 4 seating positions in here have access to it. So we can all hang out. Last night there was 5 of us in here, just having dinner and relaxing, and just creates a great seating space in the front of the van. Cool thing we added recently is this little shelf in the front. So that's made by Campo Vans, I believe it was, and it pops into the 2 smaller cup holders of the Sprinter. And it gives us 2 additional cup holders, but a little shelf, and that thing has just been awesome to have. I designed and 3D printed a little edge trim to go around it because everything kept sliding off of it going down the road. And that's made a huge difference. But yeah, we love the little table we added to the front. All right, that's my rig, Cecilia. Thanks for checking it out. See you guys next time.